Sup gamers, Etheria Restart finally released. Finally. I'm ready to play. And today I wanted to make a quick tier list for the Selector banner. This tier list is not a general tier list, it is a tier list only on the RGB units that are on the banner, the Selector banner, and a tier list more focused on PVE progression. Because if you can progress in PvE and farm the in-game gear, you can become stronger in PvE and PvP. All of the characters are like useful in PvP in like their own way, but like I really don't want to go into PvP, like talking about it and doing the tier list for that, because that's a little too much. So I'm only going to be focusing on PvE and progression. Personally, I will not be using my selector until like day 5 or day 6. I don't really remember when we can get into the hell modes, but I'm gonna wait until I can figure out like what I really need to use my selector on. Now of course you can pick whoever you want from the selector, and whenever you want to use it you could use it. It's a game, have fun. But I'm making this tier list to give my opinion on which characters are like priority picks that can help your account out. Let's get into it. First off, let's just get this over with, the free characters and the limited banner. The free characters, Lian and Lingluo. These characters are great, you should build them, use them, but they're not on the selected banner, so you're fine. The only thing, you just gotta have to be patient with Lingluo because it takes 7 days to get her, so just be patient. On the limited banner we have Freya. She's a really good character. She's probably like one of the characters I use the most. Yeah, she is during the beta, and so I really like her. I know that a lot of people have been saying that she's not that good, but I honestly think like she really is good, and if you really like her, yes, pull for her and use her. The star of the show, Rilmocah, the only S tier character, like S tier in terms of like priority, that I think is the highest priority character. And I'm not saying like she's a must pull. I'm just saying if you pull her, you're gonna have a way better time farming the in-game gears, Doki Doki gear stage, because there are other characters that can do Doki Doki, but like let's look at Gray. The problem with Gray is that he's a lot weaker, and so if you're a lot weaker, you're going to allow the enemy team or the enemies to get a turn, and so therefore if they get a turn, they're gonna attack your characters, and if they attack your characters, you need more gear on your team to be able to survive their attacks. But with Rilmocah, her strength is that she literally can just one-shot wave after wave, and this makes it so much easier to set up an auto team versus like Gray's auto team. So Rilmocah, in my opinion, is like the highest priority if you want to make, have your account very strong and very easy to set up an auto farm for Doki Doki grinding. Moving on to the A tier, let's get rid of Gray here. We have Rosa and Khloros. These two characters are really good at doing the in-game gear bosses again. Rosa is amazing at doing Aurora, and Khloros is amazing at doing Tiamat. So these characters are great. The only reason why they're in A and they're brought down a little is because there's characters that are in the SR tier, like the Ting and Victor, that basically could do their jobs for them, right? So like these in-game gear farming stages, they can be done by SR characters just as efficiently as Rosa and Khloros. Now, you might say, oh well, can't you just, isn't that the same case with Rilmocah? The answer is no, not really. Like I said before, like Rilmocah is just on another tier when you're talking about farming Doki Doki. So that's why those two are moved down. And to just make it clear that Rosa and Khloros are very, very capable. Rosa and Khloros and Rilmocah, they are very, very capable of doing early game and mid game PVE. Like, yes, Khloros is not the best because he's single target, but that doesn't really matter. It'll just take him a little bit longer to do certain stages, but he will be able to do it, and he's capable of doing it too. So that's why these characters are up here. Moving on to Tiamat and Helkid, they're moved down. Xiada. Xiada is a great character, strong, but it takes her a little bit to ramp up. She needs a very specific team, but she is capable of being strong. And she is very good at doing Doki Doki. But like I said, it takes her a little bit to ramp up, so therefore she may be like not as consistent as Rilmocah up here, but she is still very strong. Beyontin and Tsukiyo Mi. These two characters kind of fill in the same role, but Beyontin gives you more damage while Tsukiyo Mi gives you more speed. But they both pull up a single character to make it their turn again. So basically your DPS goes and these two characters pull those two up, and so they take another turn. And that's why they're very strong, because they're very, very good supporters. And that's why they're an A, because like if you already have your DPSs set up, these characters will be very, very good to be on your account. So like if you already have your DPSs and you still have your Selector, well, select one of these supports. Next is Kloss. I really want to put Kloss in S, but the issue with Kloss is that, well, it's not really an issue with her. It's that Gray exists, and Gray does basically the same thing as Kloss. It's basically the same thing. So if you don't have Kloss, it's like it's okay because you have Gray to do the job of being a defense breaker. That's what they both do. They break the enemy's defense, and it makes it so you do way more damage. But because Gray exists and Gray could do almost the same as Kloss, she's, far into the back of A because Gray exists. Let's put Gray down here. And then we're going to the B tier. Tiamat and Helkid. They basically fulfill the same kind of roles. They're both like DPS sustain units, and they're very, very, very good for early game, mid game, and they're even good for in game. But the issue with these two characters that I have is that, yes, they're great for early game progression into the mid game and even into the late game. They're really good. The only issue is that, Tiamat is very, very bad for auto farming. She's great for manual play, but auto farming, she's bad. And Helkid's really good at doing one gear farming. It's called Teramaton, the gear farming for that. But the issue is you're not going to be really doing Teramaton. So yes, Helkid is very, very good, but Teramaton is not going to be a priority stage for you to do. And that's why they're both in B. Rahu is a great character that does a lot of damage. In PvE, his problem is that his damage is inconsistent. And that's really it, because he does follow-up attacks when your teammates attack, but it's only a 50% chance of it happening. So if you're trying to farm something on auto, you have a 50% chance of him not hitting. So it's kind of bad. But like manually, like you could be like, oh, like he didn't attack here, so like I could try to fix, the damage spread because you're manually playing, so like it's easier to do it. But on auto, the AI is gonna play and it's not gonna make it work very well. Born or Borgne, whatever his name is, no one really knows. Um, he is very strong, very tanky. Well, not very tanky, but tanky enough. But the issue with this character is that he doesn't crit, and crit rate and crit damage is like very, 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 like very necessary to do a lot of damage in PVE. Now, of course, he's good in PvP, but PvE and progression, like he's not going to be really used a lot for anything. Now, he does have Dispel, which is great, but there's other characters that you could use for Dispels, like Viper. He's an SR, just use him, he could Dispel, and you don't need to pull for an SSR to do that job. Now, Mia is a support, healer, pusher, a dispeller, and a defense cleanser, a debuff cleanser of one turn. But the issue with Mia is that she's a jack of all trades, master of none. She's just not good at one specific thing. And so like, yes, if you find a like stage where like all of these things matter, then yeah, she's good. But like most of the times you just want a character that's really, really good at doing one singular thing. Victoria, is it Victoria? I think it is Victoria. I totally don't remember her name. She's a great unit for PvP, a dispeller, but in PvE she's not really that useful, except for if you want to use her for auto farming, for using her dispel, and then she could put a shield on people to sustain you. But like I said, like same thing again, just use Viper. Viper is just a really good character that's going to be easier to get and gives you the dispel. Lilith. Lilith is oh man, I really like Lilith, but the issue with Lilith is that Marvel exists. Even though Marvel is nerfed, it doesn't matter. He's still gonna be super, super good. And Lilith's problem is that she pushes back one character only, so one enemy can get pushed back. That's one. Marvel pushes everyone back. So like Marvel in a lot of situations and most of the fights just performs better because he has AoE pushback. And the thing about Lilith is she has a stun, but bosses don't get stunned. They could get pushed back, but not stunned. So like half of her kit is gone when you're fighting bosses. And then the other half is when you're fighting like normal mobs. She puts a bomb on them and then it takes 2 turns to stun. So yeah, she's not a pretty good pick most of the time. You could still use her. I really did like her, but like I just never really used her at all. It was just Marvel, and I still really think that even though he's nerfed, he's still good. And the last character is Celince. She's not good in PvE. She's only good in PvP, and even in PvP, she's like what? She's only used to like counter characters that have strong passives, and that's it. So like, you're only using her as a counter pick to specific characters, and so like she's not a very high value unit. And then of course in PvE, she's very, very useless in my opinion, because her shield is not very high scaling. And that's the tier list. Remember, it's a tier list on PvE. Hope you agree, and if you didn't, that's totally fine. Remember, you can pick whoever you want. Have fun, guys.